Imagine just for a moment that the next time you look up at the night sky, you know that somewhere, far to the north, beneath the shimmering aurora of the Arctic Circle, a European-built rocket is preparing for liftoff. Not just any rocket, but a sleek, reusable machine designed by some of the continent's brightest engineers and visionaries. This rocket, called Themis, represents not just a leap in technology, but a bold challenge to the dominance of Silicon Valley's SpaceX and the rising space ambitions of China. What if Europe, long seen as a cautious follower in the space race, could suddenly take the lead? This isn't science fiction. It's a story unfolding right now, and its outcome could reshape the global balance of power in the cosmos for decades to come. In June of the year 2025, an extraordinary journey captured the imagination of engineers, policymakers, and dreamers across Europe. A convoy, unlike any seen before, wound its way from Les Mureaux, just outside Paris, through 5 countries and over 3,000 kilometers of highways, bridges, and ferries toward the frosty expanse of northern Sweden. Inside a custom-designed transport truck, securely fastened and gleaming in the midsummer sun, was Themis, a 28-meter-tall cylinder, 3.5 meters wide, and the very first European attempt at a full-scale reusable rocket stage. For 2 weeks, this convoy became a symbol of hope and ambition. Crowds gathered at roadside stops, school children waved flags, and headlines buzzed with the question, could this be the moment when Europe finally takes its place at the forefront of the new space age? To appreciate why Themis matters so much, we need to look back at the history of spaceflight. For decades, Europe's access to space has depended on expensive, single-use rockets, most notably the Ariane series. Each launch meant building a new rocket from scratch, launching it once, and then watching it plunge into the ocean, never to be used again. This model, while reliable, has serious drawbacks. Every launch costs a fortune, and Europe has been forced to compete with cheaper, more flexible options emerging from American and Chinese companies. In the United States, SpaceX revolutionized the industry by landing its Falcon boosters vertically and flying them again and again. China quickly followed, leveraging state support and engineering prowess to develop their own reusable systems. The impact? Launch costs plummeted, opportunities soared, and a new era of commercial spaceflight was born, one in which Europe risked being left behind. Jonathan McDowell, an astronomer at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, summed it up bluntly. It is long past time for Europe to have a proper commercial launch industry. The warning was clear. Without bold action, Europe would remain a customer in the global space economy, renting rides on foreign rockets, paying premium prices, and missing out on the innovation, jobs, and influence that come with leadership in orbit. Enter Themis. This rocket is not just another testbed, it is the centerpiece of a strategy to reclaim European autonomy in space. Designed by a consortium led by ArianeGroup and backed by the European Space Agency, ESA, and the European Union's Salto initiative, Themis represents the culmination of thousands of hours of research, billions of euros in investment, and the combined expertise of engineers from France, Germany, Sweden, Belgium, Italy, and beyond. The financial commitment alone is staggering. ESA has invested more than 230 million euros, while the European Union has contributed an additional 39 million through the Salto program. These are not just numbers, they are a statement of intent. At 28 meters high, taller than a 9-story building, and 3.5 meters in diameter, Themis is a technological marvel. It is designed for one purpose: to prove that Europe can build, launch, land, and relaunch a rocket stage with the same precision and efficiency as its American and Chinese rivals. The heart of Themis is the Prometheus engine, an innovative power plant that burns liquid methane and liquid oxygen. Methane is a deliberate choice. It is cheaper, cleaner, and more sustainable than the hydrogen traditionally used in European rockets. Methane is easier to store, less prone to leaks, and can even be synthesized from renewable sources, offering a glimpse of a greener future for space travel. The road to reusable rockets, however, is paved with challenges. The first major test for Themis will be a so-called hop, where the rocket will rise just 20 meters above the launch pad at Sweden's Esrange Space Center and attempt a soft, precise vertical landing inside a 20 by 20 meter target zone. If this sounds modest, consider that achieving reliable vertical takeoff and landing, VTVL, has foiled even the world's best engineers. In the early days of SpaceX, dozens of test flights ended in fiery explosions. Every successful hop is a victory for automation, software, and the delicate dance of thrust, balance, and control. For Themis, the test will also validate the work of a small army of helper robots, forklift-sized machines programmed to disconnect and reconnect the rocket's umbilical cables before launch and after landing. If these robots can master their tasks, Europe's spaceports could become models of autonomous, efficient operations, reducing the need for costly human intervention and accelerating turnaround between launches. But Themis's mission is bigger than just technological demonstration. It is a matter of strategic autonomy, economic leverage, and national pride. As Daniel Neuenschwander, ESA's Director of Space Transportation, points out, Themis will create additional options for lowering the cost of access to space. This is not just about saving money on a launch. Lower costs mean more launches, more satellites, more data, and more opportunity for European businesses, scientists, and governments to innovate. Imagine a future where launching a satellite, conducting climate research, or building a space-based internet service is not an extraordinary expense but a routine investment, opening doors for thousands of new enterprises, from environmental monitoring to real-time disaster response, from rural broadband to next-generation navigation systems. And yet the stakes could not be higher. If Themis succeeds, Europe could finally secure independent, affordable access to space, a resource as critical as oil or silicon chips in the 21st century. If it fails, the continent risks being locked out of the most lucrative frontier of the coming decades. Dependence on foreign rockets is not just an economic liability, it is a strategic vulnerability. As Malcolm MacDonald of Strathclyde University warns, uncertainty in international relations means Europe must be able to launch its own payloads, on its own terms, at a moment's notice. Yet even as Themis stands ready on its snowy launch pad, a host of challenges loom on the horizon. The first integration tests, originally planned for late 2025, have already slipped into early 2026, a reminder that rocket science is as unforgiving as it is inspiring. Technical delays, funding debates in parliaments and boardrooms, and the relentless pressure of global competition all threaten to derail Europe's ambitions. With hundreds of millions of euros at stake, every setback is scrutinized. A failed test flight could trigger calls for budget cuts or a shift in priorities, leaving Europe to play catch-up for another decade. But the payoff, if Themis can deliver on its promise, is transformative. André Hubert-Roussel, CEO of ArianeGroup, sees Themis as the foundation for a whole new generation of low-cost, high-performance launchers. The knowledge gained here could feed directly into more ambitious projects, larger reusable rockets, perhaps even human-rated systems capable of carrying astronauts or tourists into orbit. The promise is not just technical, it is economic and societal. New spaceports could spring up from the Atlantic coast of Portugal to the Baltic shores of Estonia. Startups and research labs could flourish, building everything from miniaturized satellites to robotic servicing tugs, enabled by cheap, reliable access to space. For ordinary Europeans, the impact would be profound. Imagine better weather forecasts, made possible by constellations of European satellites. Consider the power of a continent-wide space-based internet, bringing high-speed connections to remote villages in the Alps or the forests of Scandinavia. Think about real-time monitoring of wildfires, floods, and crop health, tools that could save lives and boost productivity. Or picture a new generation of students and entrepreneurs, inspired by Themis, turning their ideas into the next wave of space-based businesses. And let's not forget the symbolic value. For years, Europe has watched as the United States and China have used space to project soft power, the ability to shape narratives, forge alliances, and inspire trust. By mastering reusable rocket technology, Europe sends a message. We are not just customers, we are creators. We set our own course in the cosmos. As Thilo Kranz, ESA program manager, observes, securing access to space increases flexibility, creates jobs, and strengthens sovereignty. The global context adds another layer of urgency. In the United States, SpaceX and Blue Origin are pushing the boundaries with ever larger, ever more capable reusable rockets. China, with its state-backed Long March and Smart Dragon programs, is rapidly catching up, while India and Japan are launching their own initiatives. Even private companies in Brazil and Australia have begun exploring reusable systems. If Europe hesitates, the gap will only widen. Yet there are reasons for optimism. Themis benefits from the lessons and mistakes of its predecessors. It draws on a deep well of European expertise, forged through decades of cooperation and competition. The collaborative model, bringing together agencies, governments, and companies from across the continent, is itself a source of strength. And the public interest is high. From school science fairs to university research labs, the story of Themis is inspiring a new generation to dream beyond the atmosphere. For you, the viewer, the student, the entrepreneur, the voter, the implications are real and immediate. The race for reusable rockets is not just about national prestige or scientific pride. It is about the price you pay for internet service, the accuracy of your weather app, the resilience of your country in times of disaster. It is about the types of jobs that will exist in 5, 10, or 20 years. If you are interested in climate change, urban planning, logistics, or even entertainment, the outcome of Themis will affect you. Cheaper, more flexible access to space will enable new industries we have not yet imagined, from real-time global supply chain tracking to immersive, space-based gaming environments. So what can you do? If you are a student, consider focusing your studies on fields like aerospace engineering, computer science, or robotics, areas that will be critical as Europe builds out its space economy. If you are an entrepreneur, look for opportunities at the intersection of hardware, data, and applications, where space-based platforms can unlock new markets. And if you are a citizen, pay attention to how your leaders prioritize science and technology. Strategic investment today will pay dividends for decades to come. Themis stands as a symbol, not just of European aspiration, but of the continent's ability to collaborate, innovate, and compete on the world stage. The question now is not whether Europe can catch up, but whether it will seize the opportunity to leap ahead. Can Themis overcome the technical and economic hurdles and make Europe a leader in reusable spaceflight? The potential is real, but nothing is guaranteed. The next year, perhaps 2, will be crucial. Success would place Europe among the global elite, with independent and competitive launch systems. Failure could mean another decade of playing catch-up, watching as others reap the rewards of the new space age. Here is a little-known fact. The Prometheus engine powering Themis is not only designed for reusability. Its manufacturing process harnesses state-of-the-art 3D printing, modular assembly, and digital twins for simulation, radically reducing both time and cost. The goal is to make the engine up to 10 times less expensive than its predecessor and to enable a rocket stage to be turned around within days, not months. If Europe can master these techniques, it could transform not just spaceflight, but manufacturing across many industries. So as the countdown to Themis's first hop draws near, we return to the question that electrifies the air. Will Europe shape its own destiny among the stars, or will it remain a spectator in the greatest adventure of the 21st century? The answer depends on vision, perseverance, and the willingness to invest in the future. If you found this journey into Europe's space ambitions inspiring, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of global technology and economics. What do you think? Will Themis launch a new era for Europe, or are the challenges just too great? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't miss our next episode, where we explore how space,